how to get pregnant faster even if you have polycystic ovarian syndrome. I welcome you, my friend, for today's lesson. We are going to talk about how you can get pregnant faster even if you have polycystic ovarian syndrome. This is Gerald Massa, the health educator. I welcome you, my friend. If it is your first time on this channel, remember to subscribe so that you get to watch new videos we release every day. On this channel, we talk about the ovulation calendar, we do give pregnancy tips, and we do also talk about everything in regards to women's health. I welcome you for today's lesson, how to get pregnant with polycystic ovarian syndrome. And yes, we are going to talk about all this after this short message. Don't leave. Thank you, my friend, for staying around. We are talking about how to get pregnant with polycystic ovarian syndrome. The first thing we need to actually do before we proceed with today's lesson is we need to, first of all, define what polycystic ovarian syndrome is. Polycystic ovarian syndrome, or abbreviated as PCOS, is a disease, it's a condition whereby your ovaries, instead of producing follicles or producing eggs which are really enough, it goes on producing follicles, or it produces lots of small swellings on it, and the ovary actually gets to have lots of swellings, and these swellings are what we call cysts. Now, when they become many, anything that is a lot, we call it poly. So P stands for poly, and then C stands for cystic or fluid-filled swellings on your ovary, and then of course ovarian syndrome. Syndrome, it means that this is a collection of many symptoms. So what is happening is that many women are failing to get pregnant, but they do not know that they could be having issues. If you are a couple and you have tried to get pregnant, but really things have not worked out, maybe you've not got pregnant naturally, it is high time you may need to do some tests to really find out what is happening. And the tests we are looking at specifically, you are supposed to make sure that at least your ovulation calendar is okay. You should be able to monitor your ovulation calendar. And when we talk about the ovulation calendar, specifically we shall take an example of this diagram, and you look at these small swellings or these small cells which are growing. These are what we call the follicles. Now, when they are growing, they begin from a small stage and then they go on growing up to day 14. So when we assume that you have seen your periods, maybe your periods, you finished them like yesterday, and we assume that yesterday was basically around this period here, and then you are beginning a new menstrual cycle. You are beginning a new cycle. What is going to happen is that these readings from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, up to day 27, these are the days of your menstrual cycle. So we are looking at, if you would like to get pregnant naturally, even though you have polycystic ovarian syndrome, how best can you get pregnant naturally? The first thing I will talk about here, I will point out, is that when a woman has polycystic ovarian syndrome, there are high chances that she may actually not ovulate. So she may need medications to support ovulation. These drugs are very many, but we shall list only 2 of them which are very key. The first drug is what we call clomid or clomiphene citrate, available in a strength of 50 milligrams. Now your doctor will be the one to do the prescribing for you. This video is basically for health education, but it is a video to give you hope that if you are a couple and you have tried to get pregnant and maybe you have been told by your doctor that you have polycystic ovarian syndrome, you do not need to give up. You can still get pregnant. The key things you need to do are, you need to understand your ovulation, you need to understand your menstrual cycle. you need to monitor ovulation. You need to know the days you are most likely to get pregnant. And we are saying that when this is day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, assuming you have finished your periods, you finished them around this time, and then this is a new cycle, you simply, to get your ovulation or to calculate the day of ovulation, you simply have to calculate, you begin counting from the first day you saw your periods. Now you count up to 14th day. You count up to the 14th day. So the 14th day, when we begin counting from here, you shall say this is day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, up to day 14th. Now, the 14th day is the day of ovulation. The day of ovulation simply means the day the egg is being released, the day a mature egg is being released. Because we know that your eggs will go through stages. They will go through what we call the primary follicle, they will go through what we call secondary oocytes, and then they will lastly go on and become what we call the mature Graafian follicles. So, if you are a couple and you are trying to get pregnant and you would like to get pregnant naturally, then you just simply have to know that from the first day you saw your periods, you count 14 days. On the 14th day, that is when you are actually going to release the mature Graafian follicle, we said over here. So, for the mature Graafian follicle or for the mature egg to be released on the 14th day, there should be hormones that are balancing. The hormones we are looking at here include the follicle stimulating hormone should be balancing. The next hormone is luteinizing hormone. But the hormone that is responsible for the bursting, as you can see around here, this egg is actually rupturing, it is bursting. The hormone that brings about this rupture is what we call luteinizing hormone. Now, luteinizing hormone, also abbreviated as LH, rises on these 2 to 3 days towards the day of ovulation. That's why we always say that if you are a couple and you are trying to get pregnant, the best time for you to try to get pregnant is the 2 to 3 days towards your ovulation. If you're going to see your ovulation 3 days from today, and then you would like to maybe increase your chances of getting pregnant, begin counting from today, count the 2 to 3 days, be with your partner on those days. There are high chances that you can easily get pregnant faster. Now we have videos on this channel about ovulation. There are lots of videos. After watching this video, please go back and watch all the other videos. There's lots of information packed ready for you to watch. So, Gerald Massa, the health educator, is the name of the channel. I welcome you, my friend. And in today's video, we are talking about how to get pregnant with polycystic ovarian syndrome. What we've been talking about was, by the way, assuming that you have a normal menstrual cycle. So we are going to talk about when you have polycystic ovarian syndrome or when you have PCOS. How can you get pregnant faster? Now, we've talked about polycystic ovarian syndrome, and we have said that it affects at least 5 million people in the whole world. Polycystic ovarian syndrome is a serious condition in such a way that it affects nearly 5 million people. That is 5 million women, because it's a condition of women. So there are high chances that of all the population, there's going to be 5 million that is going to be affected by or affected with polycystic ovarian syndrome. Now we have looked at this diagram. This is basically a diagram showing the reproductive system of a woman, and we have said that when we are looking at polycystic ovarian syndrome, we shall just single out the ovary. The woman, a normal woman, has actually 2 ovaries. Even though actually you have 1 ovary, I'm sorry about this, even though you have 1 ovary, still you are normal. So still you can get pregnant. Even if you have 1 ovary, even if you have 1 fallopian tube, you can still get pregnant. You should not blame yourself. You should not really say that you are not normal when you have 1 ovary or 1 fallopian tube. I'm really so sorry about that. So we are proceeding with this lesson. When you have polycystic ovarian syndrome, how can you get pregnant faster? Now, we shall first of all look at the ovary, and it is lined with changes which are happening in place. Now, this is the whole stage we talked about. These are the small primary follicles which are growing, and then the egg goes on, and then it matures on the 14th day. This is around this period. These are the primary, and then these are the secondary oocytes. So when the egg matures on the 14th day, it becomes what we call a mature Graafian follicle, and then this egg, this follicle goes on and ruptures due to the effect of the hormone we mentioned earlier. This hormone is known as the luteinizing hormone. So after rupturing, the egg that has been released will stay around this area. This part is known as the ampulla. This part is known as the ampulla. So what is happening is that this egg will stay around here, and the male sperm will come, hang around for at least some little time, and then it will be able to fertilize the egg. This happens within 12 to 24 hours. When within 12 to 24 hours the egg has not been fertilized, then it's going to disintegrate. It's actually going to disappear. So what is happening is that if you have polycystic ovarian syndrome, normally the egg your ovary does not undergo this whole process. Just because there are issues with hormones. Maybe your hormones may not be balancing. So the first thing you need to do when you would like to find out whether you could be having a secondary cause for your failure of getting pregnant is you should do what we call a pelvic ultrasound scan. When you do a pelvic ultrasound scan, a whole understanding of your reproductive system will be done, whereby your ovaries will be assessed by your doctor, your sonographer, and then the tubes will be assessed, and then also inside your womb, pictures will be taken to assess whether your womb can carry pregnancy, whether your ovaries have the polycystic ovarian syndrome. So the first solutions to how you can get pregnant faster, even though you have polycystic ovarian syndrome, this is going to be a series. This is the first video, which I'll be releasing more videos. So please remember to subscribe, and then also come back tomorrow for more new videos I release every day. And please remember to support our work. We do lots of work in the community for the pregnant mothers. Remember to go to the description to support our work. So the first thing you need to do is you should be able to eat a bigger breakfast and a smaller dinner. Having a bigger breakfast and a smaller dinner will help you. It will increase your chances of at least managing polycystic ovarian syndrome in such a way that at least food is given time to because in the morning breakfast is really a standard meal. So if you are a woman with polycystic ovarian syndrome, you should look at least having small dinners, because in the evening, when you have lots of food in the evening, there are high chances that this food can be stored, and it can increase your chances of getting other conditions. Next is you should include more protein and more greens in your diet. These are very important because proteins contain what we call the polyamines. The polyamines, putrescine, are really so important. They are available in certain foods like cheese, and then also in some other foods. So proteins are really so important because they actually have chances of increasing your fertility, and then also increasing the sperm count, increasing the sperm quality of your partner. Next fantastic tip for you to get pregnant faster, even if you have polycystic ovarian syndrome, is that you should include more protein and greens. We've already talked about that. The next is when you eat carbohydrates, make them complex carbs. You may talk to your dietitian, your doctor, and they will explain more on how to make them complex carbs when you are a person who eats lots of carbohydrates. Next tip for you to get pregnant faster is if you eat sweets or high carb food, make sure that you combine them with healthy fats. If you eat sweets, make sure that you combine them with healthy fats. These healthy fats we are looking at are very many, but we shall pick some few which are really very important. Thank you, my friend, for watching today's video. Tomorrow we shall be adding on where we stopped today, and I'll be waiting for you for tomorrow's lesson. I welcome you, my friend. We are talking about how to get pregnant faster with polycystic ovarian syndrome, and we have said that the first thing you need to do is you should have an ultrasound scan done to confirm that yes, you are having polycystic ovarian syndrome. Then the next thing is you should make sure that you do these dietary methods, dietary advice we talked about, but also make sure that you see your doctor, your gynecologist, who will prescribe you some drugs to actually increase your chances of going into ovulation. These drugs are very many, but briefly we talked about clomiphene or clomid, and then we also said that letrozole is also very effective when you are a client, when you are a woman and you have polycystic ovarian syndrome and you would like to get pregnant faster. I'm so happy that you have stayed with me for today's lesson. Make sure that you come tomorrow for the next video about how you can get pregnant faster. And yes, I'm Gerald Massa. I'm a health educator. I welcome you and I wish you a fantastic and healthy day. See you in my next video and may God bless us all. Bye-bye. Thank you, my friend, for attending today's lesson. I hope you have learned something, and please, if you have any questions in regards to what we've just discussed, leave your questions in the comments. Ask me your questions. I will answer all your questions. On this channel, Gerald Massa, the health educator, I talk about women's health. Have yourself a fantastic and healthy day, and may God bless us all. Bye-bye.